Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. This is the first story of our channel, which is a horror story. You will enjoy listening to it. Let's start the story. This story is many years old. Inside the village, there used to be small houses. Hearts were connected with hearts. People were attached to the walls of these houses. They used to live in their own homes, but there was endless love and affection in each other's hearts in this village. It was the time of the village which has ended even within the village when they had TV, DVD, cars, etc. People also think that they should have these things. So if anyone have TV inside a house, it did not belong to that house. All the people from the surrounding village not only watched their TV inside the house, but also took care of them and served them drinks and whatever they wanted to eat and drink. And we used to feel proud that we are blessed that people come sit with us and honor us, and that we are able to offer them some of the blessings given by Allah. There was a time of love, and there was a house in which the first son was born, Qasim. And after that a second son was born, whose name was Naim. It was a house of about 27 square foot, a rough but very beautiful house. As you enter through its wooden door, there is a hand pump on your right hand as soon as you enter. The drain from which they used to draw water, and on the opposite side the bathroom. But the most beautiful thing about it was the huge sacred fig tree was in the center of the house. The tree had its shadows over the courtyard like umbrella, and the people of the houses when day was very hot. Also, birds sought shelter from the sun and heat under this tree. So this sacred fig tree would bring such cool air as well as comfort to the residents of these houses. Where there was shade, they used to put coats under it and sit and enjoy the cool air in that area. There was no concept of air conditioning, so there were people in houses made of sacred fig trees, and tree worked as air conditioning while sitting on a coat. How cold the wind blows, and you start to feel sleepy. And after the big courtyard, 3 rooms were built, and 1 room was left behind in the place of the 4th room, to be made the room for the children in time when they were young. This was time of love. Qasim's mother did not even call her husband's name in that period. She was ashamed to call him by name, so she called her husband like calling Qasim's father, because the first son born to them was Qasim. So they always called their husband by the name of Qasim's father. All the farming that Qasim's father used to do was from the lands that were left to him by his ancestors. When Qasim became young, he started helping his father. He used to farm with his father. Now, like his father, his livelihood was to earn food for the house and the rest needs which were met with money were from his farming. When Qasim was born, as Qasim's father engaged his father, Qasim's father engaged his brother's daughter, whose name was Ruxana. I think we should not say word engagement, but we can say yes, they promised. And Ruxana's father said, brother, you don't need to say you are trustworthy. When she is young, you can definitely marry this trust to your home. Qasim's father's younger son, Naim, when he grew up, he also started farming together with his father and brother. Qasim had become young and married Ruxana at the wish of his parents and brought her home, whether Ruxana had a good heart or not. But one thing was certain, her face was an ordinary face. She was not very beautiful. Her facial features were not such that anyone could call her beautiful by looking at her. Yes, Qasim was quite beautiful compared to her. But still, how did he know that his sweetheart is Ruxana from childhood? So even though she was a girl of modest appearance, he still loved his sweetheart. And when Qasim got married to Ruxana, he was very beautiful. After the marriage, he took care of Ruxana. He loved her with all his heart, and after few months, it was decided to marry the younger son Naim as well. Because Qasim had wishes with his fiancée since childhood. He also knew that one of his sons had been engaged since childhood. So to find a relationship for Naim in the surrounding village and also in his own village. And finally, the daughter of a poor potter who used to make earthenware was chosen for Naim. The relationship came after seeing the mother of Qasim and Naim. She said yes as soon as they saw the girl. Ruxana was the only daughter of 4 brothers. She was a sister and youngest girl. There were 4 brothers older than Ruxana, and her last number was Ruxana. Inside the house, the rail of wealth started. Food, drink, clothes, everything was cared as compared to the family of Qasim. The family of Ruxana was more rich. They lived in the village and they had more land than the people of Qasim's family. Ruxana was, of course, modest in appearance, but still she walked very proudly. She was proud that the family she came from a rich family. Qasim had no interest in her building except that she was his wife and he loved her. In which house Ruxana was very respected. Her mother-in-law loved her very much. But now there was talk about Naim's relationship. She was anxious to see that now she is going to get another daughter-in-law. The eldest son was Qasim and the eldest son's wife was Ruxana. She was the ruler of this house, but now another daughter-in-law was about to come. The house was full of pomp and fanfare. The elders were smoking outside on the couches. Even though it was a little hot, women wearing silk flamboyant clothes were moving from one place to another. Children were playing inside the house. Deng was very happy. He was a bridegroom and he brought a girl named Reshma in this house yesterday. Here everyone was celebrating happiness at home. Women were not feeling hot despite wearing such silk clothes. Even in this heat, they were so happy. There was also a Rukhsana who was anxious to see that when she became a bride. The women of the village showed their faces in the same way when she was sitting as a bride. She congratulated her and gave her some gift. So it was the turn of the younger daughter-in-law, Reshma. When Rukhsana saw Reshma, she was heartbroken and sat down. Reshma, who was a potter's daughter, was not a potter's daughter. She was a piece of the moon. She was so beautiful. Her bright, tawny color was such that anyone who saw her could not stop looking at Reshma. It is truly said that sometimes the house of the poor is red and she was diamond. Every woman of the village who came to see the bride Reshma used to say the same thing, having never seen such a beautiful girl. She would congratulate her, give her a gift, and move on. This was not noticed by anyone except Rukhsana, whose heart was badly broken. That she came in this house, they are trying to kill Rukhsana with words were that one of them even said loudly by addressing Qasim's mother. Your little daughter-in-law is like a piece of the moon. Next to that, no beauty can compare like this. There was such a sentence that hit the heart like an arrow, and another jealousy was born in Rukhsana's heart. Women were calling her a piece of the moon. They were congratulating her, and everyone was praising her beauty. She was so beautiful. Qasim was equally happy at the wedding of his younger brother Naeem, and was still doing arrangements for his younger brother's wedding. Naeem was very happy, except Rukhsana. Everyone was very happy. Knives were running in the heart of Rukhsana. Jealousy had arisen in her. Burning had started in her. She had started burning in the fire of jealousy. And sometimes like that, in this loving village, where there is love everywhere, there was a fire in one heart inside the same house, a fire in which it was burning. By jealousy, she went crazy after seeing some beautiful face that everyone is praising her in front of her. My courage was the same as before, but now my beauty has remained in front of her. She had forgotten that her husband, Qasim, despite her modesty, was obsessed with her. He had never told her that she was modest, but he still loved her very much. But she was already jealous. So the wedding day passed and slowly the days of routine began. Reshma also started to help in the housework. Then the attitude of mother-in-law was the same with elder daughter-in-law Roxana and younger daughter-in-law Reshma. It was to be seen that the elder daughter-in-law was in disadvantage. She was the best in cooking. Now when she saw Reshma, she also did the household chores of cooking and washing the dishes in the same way, breathing. She completely relaxed after reading how to run the house, how to be polite and respectful. The mother-in-law was relaxed, so her attitude was equal to both daughters-in-law. Now the regret in Roxana's heart was that she wanted to her husband's name to fight with his wife Reshma, so that she would be satisfied. Because until now mother-in-law was also respecting her in the same way as she was giving to Roxana. But she wanted to see harm, be it disrespected to her, fight with her. Time passed that after 4 to 6 months, because he was not like his elder brother Qasim, he had a very angry nature. Then it happened that he slowly started fighting with his wife Reshma. Roxana satisfied and started to feel great when he fought with his wife Reshma. Roxana could not do anything. The fire of jealousy that was burning in her heart, which was increasing day by day. She felt very happy and cool on that day. When Naeem insulted and fought with Reshma, the days passed by. The day came when it was found that both the daughters-in-law were hopeful. A new life was being born inside their stomachs. Reshma became mother first, then after few days Roxana became mother. Now there is a time in which a regular ritual had to be performed there both when women are about to become menstruating and when they become mother. So there is a atmosphere in the village. People come, congratulate. So everything was going to happen like that. People were congratulating Reshma that she was going to be a mother and a son was going to be born to her. But Roxana was constantly jealous that the way Reshma is beautiful, the way her face shines brightly, the way she is beautiful, and her son will also be the same. And it happened when Reshma gave birth to a child. It was a son, like Reshma, like a piece of moon. And Reshma and Roxana, who was already burning in this fire, in the fire of jealousy, and now she knew that I was going to have a child, whether it was a son or a daughter. But the son who is going to be born or the daughter who is going to be born will be like the Reshma's son, and my children will feel inferior again. My children will see themselves, and if they see Reshma's children, they will ask me why we are not so beautiful. Roxana had made a decision, a very terrible decision. The love of these children was such in everyone's heart that everyone was very much in love. Qasim was also happy. Her younger son, a moon-sized son, was born there. 3 or 4 days went by. Everyone was congratulating and celebrating. It was the fifth day, the opportunity that Ruxana was looking for. She got the opportunity on the fifth night. Both Qasim and Naim had gone to the field with their father, but they had to give water at night. She was laying on her bed. There was only one house. Qasim and his wife lived in one room, and in another room Reshma and her husband Naim lived. But Qasim's wife got up and was watching from her window. Then the mother-in-law got up from her bed and went upstairs to the roof. Silently, one night, in the dark night, that sacred fig tree shaded the yard like that, and there was someone making a nest on that tree, or sitting birds were also sleeping. The mother-in-law got up and walked on the steps that were made of clay and reached the top of the roof. After laying down to sleep, Ruxana slowly got up from her room and walked into Reshma's room. She saw that Reshma was fast asleep, and then piece of the moon is sleeping by her side, still holding her hand over him as a mother holds her child in love even in sleep. And that little angel was also sleeping. Then even a small rat killer tablet was enough for that little angel. She came walking and quietly put the small tablet in the angel's mouth and quietly went back and laying on the bed. Her heartbeat must have been fast. Now she had no regrets, no shame. She was happy that tomorrow was going to be another happy day. Thinking this, she fell asleep. Her eyes opened when there was a sound of shooting inside the house. When Ruxana got up from her bed, her mother-in-law and Reshma was screaming loudly, and her mother-in-law was saying loudly that a snake had bitten this innocent person while she was sleeping, due to which his mother foamed so much in the morning that he died. Reshma was in a bad condition. She was a mother. She had gone mad. Her 4 or 5 days old son had died. The snake had bitten him, and snake biting was a common thing in the village. Ruxana, who was visibly depressed, was saying inwardly, because she should embrace her, she was always jealous of her and used to hear her crying and screaming at the same time. In this world of happiness, where Ruxana was shooting inside with joy that today is my celebration day. He died, who was so handsome that any child who came to me would suffer from a feeling of inferiority complex. So there she got a pain in her stomach and found out that it was time for delivery in the house where Naim was laying in mourning. His son had died. Their lady doctor was also there. The midwife was called, and another child was born on the same day. One of Ruxana's children was being born inside this house. One of them was poisoned to be dead in the same house the night before. No one should understand whether to cry or be happy on this occasion. Qasim must have been a little sad and a little happy that a son was born to him, but he was also sad because his brother's son died due to a snake bite. A child was buried under the soil and a son was born who looked like his mother and was born with a ugly figure. That son grew up slowly. He was named Sherdad, but as he grew older, his habits of fighting, quarreling, misbehavior, and his character also became bad. In the beginning, he listened to his parents scolding him, but as he grew up, he became so rude that he did not listen to anyone. The shape of the neighborhood was getting worse and worse when it grew. There were so many complaints that all the girls in the village used to talk to them regularly. He used to say that his Sherdad said that Sheru had done this. The Sheru had done that, and now if his father tries to explain him or scold him, he would be the opposite of his father. The misbehavior started. Another son was born to Reshma, but because now the children were getting young, 2 or 3 daughters were born to Qasim. Now both of them felt that we should separate our homes, and thus one. Since they used to spend time in the same house, they separated their houses. Now Reshma lived with her and the child in the same house and Qasim. Their children in a separate house. But Sherdad took the lives of the parents. As time went by, the complaints grew in his manner and it became difficult for the father to come out where Qasim passed by. There was a complaint that your son has done this, your son has done that. So the father was so forced in front of the young son, and even if he tried to explain to him, he would be rude to the father, and his misbehavior increased to such an extent that one of his cousins, who were his sisters, they invited one of her friends to their house. While talking, she did not know the time. So she said to her friend who had come to her house to meet her from another village, "Do you stay here tonight? It is late." So Qasim and his wife Ruxana also said, "Yes, stay here, tomorrow they will leave you." That girl stayed in their house that night. That girl stayed in their house that night to stop them all slept. What time of the night was it when a noise was heard? Sana got up from her place and ran away, and she saw noises are coming from the same room where the girl was sleeping. She reached inside and opened the door. So the poor thing was in such a condition that Sheru wanted to attack her. she ran away and hid behind Rukhsana. She was also very tired by his son's misbehavior. She had forbidden the life of her parents, but for the first time it came out of her mouth, I have been punished for my crime on the day I gave birth to you. Strong clap on the face of Sheru, stepped forward and her eyes were red. Instead of being afraid of his mother's embarrassment, he started to strangle her mouth with one hand, and while strangling her, she fell down and fainted. She heard a noise in the house. Sheru ran away from the house. When everyone woke up, she was unconscious. They kept trying to bring her to consciousness. Till morning, she did not regain consciousness, and when she regained consciousness in the morning, Rukhsana had lost consciousness. While she was speaking, another man's voice was heard inside her like ghost. Then the Imam of the masjid was brought by a revelation, and when he started reciting, someone came at that moment inside the Rukhsana, and the one who appeared inside the Rukhsana said in his own voice, "Yes, I have come inside her to take revenge on her." Imam asked about what is the revenge, for he started telling that the sacred fig tree inside the house which they left inside the house. I was living in the same sacred fig tree. I lived inside this house. I saw this house of love. I saw the residents of the house living in love. Then I also saw the scene when the marriage took place. I was there. I also saw jealousy inside that Rukhsana, inside which I am present, and the fire of her jealousy was so burning that I saw with my own eyes a small innocent who came inside this house. He came into existence in this world. So she used rat killer tablet and put a tablet in his mouth. I lay down. I could not do anything at that time. But she killed him, and I wanted nature to take revenge on her. So she killed him, the system of nature in her son, and it so happened that last night he tried to strangle her. And even if she tried to do so, she could not. So he has been punished. He will never change. He will have the same intention, and his natural punishment is this: I have grown into her. I will not leave her. His end is yet to come. He tried hard to get him out. He told him to get out. But the ghost said, I am very powerful, and I will not leave her. I am telling you all, so that the villagers can now take a lesson with that is going to happen to this woman. After all, the talk was done, and for some time he said, I am going outside her, but I will continue to hurt her. When she was conscious, she became normal, and when she was told whether you had bewitched her in this way, she was first told that You were unconscious. Your son has pressed your neck. He said, yes. I have been punished then. The husband, who was sitting in front, said, did you kill that small child with a mouth killer tablet? Did you put the tablet in his mouth? She said, how did you come to know about this? He asked, first tell me that you killed him. Then I have been punished in the form of children like Sheru. Then the husband said, I also free you from this curse. And he divorced her there. This is your punishment. But her punishment was not yet over, after which Sheru never come back and never one know about him. And now, at regular intervals, the villagers saw her having seizures, and he who had come inside her would constantly come inside her and roar and give her so much pain that he would scream, and when he left, she was so unconscious that she could not get up. She lived for some time and under such an arrangement of nature, whose husband had also divorced her. Her son had also left her, and the villagers used to taunt her. She did not live for a long time, and people saw that she was mad and left there with dust on her head. After some time, that body was found in the cemetery at the very end of the village. Allah had given patience to Reshma. Allah had given her another son, but Rukhsana had taken the life of an innocent. Nature then took such a revenge that her child also became young, and the child also ran away from the house holding the mother's neck. But the character was so bad that whole village was fed up with Rukhsana and his son. Not only did she get divorced, but this changed her in such a way that the secret that was revealed to her was told to the whole world, and I don't know what he did to her. Villagers found her dead body.